We do have now joining us here on Montana Talks, David Yarrow, a kind of a world-famous photographer, in particular the way he integrates wildlife into his photography. David Yarrow, great to have you on the show this morning. Thanks for calling in.
It's great to be in Montana. It's such a beautiful state. And we've been coming here for 7 or 8 years, normally when it's your winter. And we came not expecting it to be your winter last week, but it certainly turned into being that. So it did add another layer of complication, but everyone in your state is so helpful, even in a COVID period as we're going through right now. And I know Cindy was made to feel very much at home by everyone.
Yeah, so David Yarrow, you were born in Glasgow, Scotland, not Glasgow, Montana. Yeah,
but I think the temperature's not that different today. But I think the population is maybe slightly different. But yes, Glasgow, Scotland.
I had to laugh when I saw the temperatures this morning from the National Weather Service office, because I think you're cooped up in a cabin in Ennis, Montana, and it was 2 degrees below zero this morning, greeting you in Ennis. How does that feel?
Well, it makes you wake up early. And a nice stretch for your legs. You're ready to go for the rest of the day. Ennis is beautiful, and we've often showed up in Virginia City, and we've got a gallery that represents us in Big Sky. So there are worse places to be for a couple of weeks, which is we will be here for a couple of weeks, waiting for the next high-profile people to come up.
I saw some incredible photographs so last week I'd mentioned on the radio, I said Cindy Crawford was in Billings, Montana. And, usually when celebrities come to the state, they're in, like you say, Big Sky, or they're in the Flathead, they're in Whitefish or somewhere like that. So the fact that she was in downtown Billings, Montana, I was like, wow, I wonder what she was up to. Was she going to see Kanye West down at his ranch in Cody? And then somebody shared these incredible photographs from the Jersey Lilly bar in Ingomar, which is a legendary bar. I guess tell us what you were up to at the Jersey Lilly and why that was kind of the place to go.
Well, we wanted to shoot inside. We wanted a bar that was far off the beaten track so that we wouldn't get pestered. And Ingomar, as you know, is so remote. I think it's the nearest sign that the Jersey Lilly used to say is you can't get a drink or anything to eat for 50 miles either side of Ingomar. It had the right lighting. We knew the owners, and we wanted to turn it into a kind of Dr. Zhivago type ice palace. So we agreed terms with the owners, because I know it's hunting season, and they allowed us to take over the place for 4 or 5 days and turn it into a canvas on which to tell stories. And then we brought a motley crew of people from all around America to be extras, but Cindy was very much the lead player.
Yes, you had world-famous supermodel Cindy Crawford there. I understand you had at least one Victoria's Secret model, and it looked like kind of a Wild West kind of setup.
I think that's fair. We kind of play with narratives that are about trespassing and being in places that look unfamiliar, and then having a hodgepodge of characters within that space just to play stories of. And I've worked with Cindy on this before, and she's so good. She can play such a range of roles. And actually, she brought her hairdresser, that's her hairstylist, that memorably styled her hair for the Pepsi ad in 1992, and again the same Pepsi ad in 2018. I'd never worked with him before, but he was a genius. And so throughout the day, she had 4 or 5 different looks, and she nailed every one, which is what she always does.
Yeah, I had to laugh when I was reading those temperatures this morning. I had to kind of laugh because one of the photographs I saw from the Jersey Lilly in Ingomar, I think it was the Victoria's Secret Josie, or the Victoria's Secret model Josie Canseco, and she was wearing more of like a Wild Western kind of lacy outfit, and I was like, man, if she's wearing that in Ennis today, that's going to be a rough morning. That's good.
Yeah, she's. We took her to Miles City, and her went to a sports bar there, and her father was Josie Canseco, the very famous American baseball player, and they had his shirt up on the wall in the sports bar, so we had a nice moment with Josie posing with her father's baseball shirt, which was nice. So it's been a fun 4 or 5 days, and everywhere we've gone, people have been very hospitable and welcoming. And to give Cindy her due, she is so down to earth, as you know, a good Midwestern girl, that she has time for everyone to take pictures and say hello, and obviously in a COVID-regulated way. But she's very approachable. There's no airs and graces with her.
I had heard that you guys maybe got out to Miles City, so you did get to. Were you at the Bison, or where'd you go in Miles City?
The Montana bar.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, got that beautiful old oak bar. So we wanted to film against that, and so that was fun actually. Other than the fact that I left the bar bill open, and I got the bar bill back, and it was over $2,000.
Oh,
so
man.
if anyone is listening out there, I'll take your thanks in retrospect.
And that takes some work too, because the drinks are actually pretty affordable at the Montana typically. So that takes some work to get the tab up there. But I'm sure you said Victoria's Secret model at the Montana, and all of Southeast Montana figured out an excuse to be in Miles City that day, probably.
Well, the list of drinks, the bar bill extended more than the length of half a tennis court. But there was quite a lot of things in the bill, drinks I've never heard of before. There seemed to be a lot of shots going down.
I'll bet. Probably some that we probably shouldn't mention on the radio, just knowing the names of some of these. So then you go to Billings, and now you're in Ennis. What did you do in Billings? What are you doing in Ennis?
In Ennis, we are waiting for the weather to improve. It's beautiful now. We're location scouting. We've got a lot of friends here. We worked up in Virginia City for many a year, and the guy that actually used to be the manager of the Pioneer Bar in Virginia City is our kind of our rodeo here. He looks after us on the road. A lovely man called Thomas Rosenthal, or Rosie as he's known to everyone. And but we're waiting for some big names to come up here in 10 days' time, but it's our job now to location scout. And I think the snow, the weather that you saw, the system coming in, I think that might be it for snow for quite a while here.
We're hoping, yes. Yeah.
We might have to work on the basis that we can't use that as a layer of narrative. We actually, for the shot in Ingomar, we brought some snow machines up all the way from Los Angeles, but it turned out we didn't need any because it was snowing anyway.
Well, if you're looking for an extra, I don't know if Willie at Willie's Distillery still has that red handlebar mustache, but he'd make a great extra there. Green Beret, former Army Ranger.
We're always looking. Actually, if anyone's listening and they want to appear as an extra, do leave their details at the Pioneer Bar in Virginia City. We're looking for weathered mountain men.
We got a few weathered mountain men that listen to this show. Well, David Yarrow, a world famous fine art photographer, integrates wildlife into his work. So great to have you join us this morning on the show. Thanks for calling in.
Not at all, mate. All the best.